Hi, and welcome to Castanet's Week in Review. I'm Nich Johansen with your top stories from this week. An infamous chapter in Kelowna's history came to a close Wednesday when 3 of the people involved in the 2011 shooting outside the Delta Grand Hotel that left gangster Jonathan Bacon dead were sentenced. Jason McBride was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 18 years for the second-degree murder of Bacon, while Jujhar Kunkun and Michael Jones were handed 18-year sentences for a 2.5-month-long conspiracy to murder Bacon. The 3 pleaded guilty to the charges Tuesday, after striking a deal with the Crown on lesser charges. The shooting was part of a tit-for-tat series of shootings that had spilled over from the Lower Mainland. The police investigation into the shooting cost $9 million. Flooding continues to plague much of the interior, with the southern Okanagan being no exception. On Thursday night, 64 properties in the small community of Twin Lakes were put on evacuation alert due to the rising Lower Nippet Lake. Officials say the flooding near the lake is expected to be significantly worse than last year, and the lake could rise up to 6 feet higher than it is now. 17 properties remain evacuated north of Oliver at Sportsman Bowl Road due to the overflowing Park Will Creek, and more than 150 properties in Tulameen have been evacuated due to the rising Otter Lake. And a saturated slope caused Westside Road to give way this week and forced the evacuation of several properties below. A section of the road collapsed down the slope Tuesday, temporarily closing the road on the west side of the Okanagan Lake. Residents of 12 homes at Killiney Beach were allowed back home Thursday night, but 2 properties near Ewing's Landing Road remain evacuated. A 21-year-old man was shot in Vernon in the early hours of Tuesday. Police were called to the 3900 block of 33rd Street at about 2 a.m. to find the young man suffering from a gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police believe the shooting was a targeted act and say the safety of the general public is not at risk. And after 20 years of producing beer in Kelowna, Tree Brewing is moving the bulk of its production to Vancouver. The Kelowna-based brewery has agreed to a joint venture with Red Rock Brewery and will be utilizing their Vancouver production facility. While most of their brewing will be done in Vancouver, the Beer Institute on Water Street will remain where it is. That's it for this week's Week in Review. For Castanet News, I'm Nich Johansen.
Looking for things to do? Find our event section under our blue Our Town button in the yellow masthead. Also, post an event for free anytime.